Hi guys, if you've been following the channel for any length of time, you'll know a couple things. One, that I publish a lot of drum books, and two, that I haven't posted a video in a long time. So today we're going to talk about my newest drum book that is coming out soon, sometime this summer I assume, and I'm also going to play you some of the stuff out of it. So if you're not into the talking, you could skip ahead, but I am going to show you some of the exercises in detail. I'm going to probably play through an entire page or two of what's in the book so you get an actual idea of what you would be getting. So you may know that I have several rudimental drum books on offer. This one's published by Hudson Music. It has 800 plus rudiments in it, including just tons and tons of like drum corps style hybrids. This one, I don't know how many rudiments are in it, but it's got 22 different types of rudimental drumming from Europe, from North America, from South America, and going back hundreds of years into history. That's pretty cool. This is the new one, and the reason I need a third one, those ones aren't good enough, is because this one's actually more focused on learning how to play the rudiments, not just showing you what rudiments exist in the world. So I think those are great if you already kind of get it, but you're looking for new, interesting, different stuff to play, either harder or more obscure, or both. This book here, A Field Guide to 50 Drum Rudiments, will focus down on not hundreds, but just 50 rudiments, and actually show you how to play them. The basic strokes, the sticking, the accenting pattern, different rhythms you can play them in, different time signatures they appear in frequently, stuff like that. And there will be single hand exercises, two hand exercises, speed build-ups, lots of skill building stuff if you're already not good at rudiments. Like if you need something to help get you going on the rudimental path so that, 22 different types of rudimental cultures or 800 plus rudiments would make sense to you, right? This is like sort of where you would start as a player, which is pretty cool. It is going to be 133 pages of stuff on just 50 rudiments, so it really gets into the meat of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick out one rudiment from here. I'm going to move the camera so you're like POV style, and then we're going to play an entire page so you can see what sort of things you would get for each of the 50 rudiments. And spoiler alert, there are actually more than 50 listed in here. There are 50 main chapters. We probably talk about at least 60 rudiments in here actually. Here's the cover design. Of course it won't have this gray not for sale thing. That's just for my proof copy. But James Musser and I have put this together over a period of a couple of years actually. So we're hoping that it's very comprehensive and very helpful. So anytime you get to a page of a new rudiment, you're going to get the number of the rudiment, and it's idiosyncratic to this book, but at least there's a system. And so this is rudiment number 6, the 5-stroke roll. Over here you're going to get an info box with the PAS number and the NARD number, if applicable. Not all of them have either one of those, but some of them have both, like this one. So this is rudiment number 7 on the PAS list, and it's number 2 on the NARD sheets. Then you're going to get other names for it in either historical, American, or British practice, or in other languages, the translations into German or Spanish or Dutch or whatever. This one happens to have, I think, all of the above. And then whether it alternates as a matter of normal practice, and this one does. And then its origin, if it's known. In this case, it's not known. The 5-stroke roll is so ubiquitous and so ancient that we don't really know where it came from exactly. We could speculate the Swiss or the French, but we don't know. Okay, so then you're going to get a whole bunch of verbiage here, and obviously you probably can't read this on the video here, but what it says is that the 5-stroke roll is a variation of the double-stroke open roll, and it goes on to explain how you play it, blah blah blah. It is also going to tell you a little bit about how it is used in music and what other rudiments it is like and things of that nature. It's going to verbally describe to you the sticking and stuff. So that is helpful background information. And then we have the PAS notation, an interpretation of that, because it's not super clear always to everybody. The NARD notation, we got some alternative rhythms here. There's some exercises to help you, and there's a triplet diddle exercise that builds you up to the 5-stroke roll, which is a pretty standard stock sort of drumline exercise, and I found it helpful in this particular situation. So you not only get the rudiment, which you would get in one of my other books, and in fact in the Rudimental Grand Tour you also typically get an interpretation of it, but you get this, more than a page worth of other exercises to really help you understand it, plus the verbal background information. So I think it's going to be helpful. So we're going to play all of this. So just to play through the whole thing, first we have the PAS notation, Percussive Art Society. And there's an audio example of that where there's a track on, it's a Google Drive folder, and there's a link to it in the front of the book. And you can hear me play that. But then if you can't understand that, there's two different interpreted notation styles, one with 30 seconds and one with 16ths, and they go the same way, 1 E and, 2 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and. Then there's the Nard notation, which is probably going to sound something like this. Then, of course, we have the alternative rhythm, and the first alternative rhythm is to put the accent in the front. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. Then we have an alternative notation in a triplet. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. And of course, we're going to turn that around and put the accent in the front. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. Then we have a slurred quintuplet rhythm, which quintuplets are weird, but all we're doing is basically playing the 5 notes of this without any gaps in them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, which is a slurred, quote-unquote, interpretation. Then we're going to have a single hand exercise in which we just play only the right hand, and then we add the left hand to it. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and, 1 E and, 2 E and. Then, of course, there's a left hand version of that. Then there's a 2-hand where we play the skeletonized version and then the full double version. So it would sound like this. 1 E and, 2 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and. And all of that is just to help you parse out, sorry for hitting the cymbal there, it's right here. Parse out the different ways you could break this down into its component parts so that when you build it back together, you have a better sounding roll. Now, we'll go through the entire triplet diddle exercise, which is at the bottom of the page. It's going to sound like this. Okay, and that is a standard sort of drumline type of warm-up. And that takes you through all the iterations possible of 1 double and then 2 successive doubles, or a 5-stroke roll, in triplet. So this probably isn't every conceivable or possible 5-stroke roll exercise, but I think that we've done enough here to where if you really didn't understand what a 5-stroke roll was, and you read all the stuff we wrote, English, if we read everything that we wrote, and you played through these exercises methodically, you would actually get it. And there are other books like this. We realize that. However, very few of them go into this level of detail. A lot of books just show you the PAS thing, and they maybe will explain it to you, like on this line, and then they'll launch into etudes. And they won't actually build you up into being able to physically play it, which I think is a very necessary part of the skill. You'll notice here that there aren't really etudes. This is maybe the closest thing here, the triplet diddle exercise, but it's not exactly an etude. And the reason we don't have etudes is because there are books chock full of etudes that are better than the ones that I could write, but very few books that actually go through it methodically like this. There are some. They do exist. I'm not saying that it never exists, but the ones that do exist, a lot of them stop at only rudiments that exist in the Nard 26 because a lot of them are quite old. And so going through it and having all the rudiments that are on the PAS sheet, which this has, plus obviously more because there's 50 instead of 40, then I think you're getting a better picture of modern drumming the way that it is today. So for example, in the back, we have a section that goes through some hybrids. We got Hertas, we got egg beaters, we got the Shirley Murphy in there. Okay, some common hybrid type things. Then you have normal flams, drags, paradiddles, single stroke and double stroke rudiments. And of course, there's going to be explanations of other concepts that you're going to need to know, like how tremolo slashes work and the history of why they're there and how they really don't mean that much anymore. So guys, if you need a guide to rudimental drumming, you just don't get it, the other books I have are too advanced, this is the thing. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll let you guys know when this comes out.